Hello everyone and welcome to the first session of your course. I'm really excited to begin this new journey with all of you, and I hope you are equally curious and eager to get started with this course. Diving into art can be a little overwhelming at first, and it might feel like an ocean of information. A lot of rules, tips, techniques, methods, formulas. So where do we start with? We will take it drop by drop, bit by bit, starting from the basics to finally master the more advanced concepts. In today's session, we will start with the most basic, fundamental element of art, lines. Why lines? Because lines define concept, the basic form of any artwork, be it a still life, landscape, portrait, human figures, or even abstract. Let me tell you the first secret of mastering fine arts. More comfortable you are with putting your pencil on paper, more natural and free-flowing your drawings will be. And hence, you must take out any hesitation you might have, small or big, and get your pencil moving on paper. Now I am going to share some basic tips and exercises to get started with the lines. But before that, aren't you wondering what exactly is there to improve in your line drawing? Well, there are so many factors. Number one, the way you keep the board or the book or the canvas in front of you. If it is vertically upright in front of you, or you are lying it down on table in front of you. The way you hold your pencil, if it is a tripod grip or it is an overhand grip, that we will come to it later. And the way you put the strokes on paper, how confident your strokes are, your fine motor skills, etc. Let's start with the grip first. You know this grip, and it's a usual grip. We call it tripod grip. You can see that with this normal, usual grip, we can write something very comfortably and we can draw smaller lines very comfortably. You can see here the wrist is controlling the movement. The size of the stroke is limited, how much ever my wrist is allowing. So it's easy to use this grip when you have to draw some details, like maybe the eyelashes or maybe some text. Okay, where you do not need the bigger strokes. So this tripod grip we will be using whenever we have to do the details. Okay, but when we have to do the bigger drawings, we must use the overhand grip. Mostly you must have seen artists using overhand grip. So for overhand grip, you have to keep your pencil on table and then keep your 4 fingers one side and one thumb one side and pick up your pencil like this. Okay, so this is the way I am holding the pencil, 4 fingers one side and one thumb one side. And when I hold my pencil like this, you can see now my shoulder is supporting the whole movement, and I can draw bigger lines. I can draw big circles because here my shoulder is controlling the movement. I'm using all the muscles of this hand for drawing. After the grip, the next important factor is quality of stroke you put on paper, and that depends upon the speed, pressure and the angle at which you hold your pencil. Let's say if I have to draw lines here, first of all I'll choose overhand grip and I draw the line in very slow speed, and you can see that my hand is a little wobbly because the speed is very slow and I'm not very comfortable with this speed. Okay, what happens if I draw the same line with very fast speed? If I choose to draw lines at very high speed, I am not able to control my lines very well and they are just randomly going here and there. So it's very important to control the speed which you're very comfortable with. Let me figure out speed which I am comfortable with. Okay, so for me, it's not very fast, not too slow. I'm okay with the speed. So that's one factor, which is speed. The second factor what I'm going to talk about is pressure. If I put too much pressure on my pencil and draw very dark, again because of the friction, my pencil is not moving on paper very comfortably. And it should not be very light and loose also. It should not be very hard also on the paper. So pressure is another thing what controls your quality of a stroke. So speed, pressure, and the third thing is the angle you are holding your pencil with. So let's say if I put my pencil on paper almost on 0-degree angle like this, I'll get thick and blurry strokes. It is good sometimes if you want it to be like that. So all these things, even if we notice them or not, but they do control our quality of strokes. They do control the way we draw lines on paper, and overall, like all these things all together make a lot of difference. These three things, I like angle also. Angle at which you hold your pencil on paper. Okay, so this is quality of stroke. Now you know that what is overhand grip. You know what are the parameters which they control the quality of stroke. And the third thing what I talked about is the way you hold or the way you keep your canvas in front of you. Generally we put the canvas on the table in front of us, which is not a very good idea. I'll show you why. So let's say if I keep it on the table, this is how we normally keep our paper in front of us when we write something. But when we have to draw straight lines or when we have to draw circles or ovals, it's not a very good idea to keep your paper like this in front of you. So the lines here what I have drawn, they're okay kind of lines, not too good, but okay. And they look quite parallel and equidistant here when you see it from top. But as soon as you start seeing it from the front, you can see that here the distance is more, and as soon as they go far from you, they look converging. We call it one-point perspective, and that we will be learning it later. And because of this perspective, this creates distortion. So it's not a good idea to keep your paper like this when you want to draw straight lines. This is the very rough circle drawn, keeping the paper on the table. Now I'll show you how does it look when you see it from the top and how actually it is drawn on paper. So what you see here is it's not a proper square and it's not a proper circle. It looks like a distorted oval. If you sit and keep this paper in front of you lying down on the table, you might feel that it's a circle, but it's not a circle actually. So it's a good idea to keep the canvas in front of you and then draw. So at home, if you don't have any easel board or some support what you can keep in front of you, that's okay. You can get a drawing board like this. This is 16 inches by 24 inches and almost 4 mm thickness, a very lightweight drawing board. You can hold your paper on it with this. These are the binder clips. That's how you can fix it here. Keep this board on 45 degree against the table in front of you, and that's how your canvas will be here, and you'll be able to see like this. And now you start drawing the straight lines here. That's your first assignment, where you have to keep the surface in front of you, number 1. Hold your pencil with overhand grip, number 2. Keep a check on the quality of a stroke by taking care of proper pressure, speed and the angle of pencil you are holding. Draw a few horizontal lines. Keep practicing lines. Get your hand in a rhythm. After practicing some horizontal lines, start with vertical lines. Draw big lines. Draw small lines. Okay, so that's how practice horizontal lines and vertical lines. Then practice draw few cross lines as well. Practice a lot of lines. It's very important to control the muscles of your hand, and it's very important to strengthen them. Practice a lot of straight lines. You have to train your muscles, you have to make them stronger. When you draw lines, your eyes, brain and your hand, all these three things work together. Your eyes see the path, your brain tells your hand where to go, and your hands do the needful. So that's, you are controlling all these three things together, and it's not that easy. Initially it will feel very weird to keep your paper like this and holding the pencil like this, but slowly you'll get used to it, and you'll start drawing straight lines. So fill the whole page with vertical lines, horizontal lines and cross lines. Okay, so this is the first assignment where you have to draw these three kind of lines, keeping all these things in mind, what I told you. Okay, now next thing is drawing the curves. After lines, curves are the most important thing and the basic element of art. You can say that a curve is a bent line. Okay, so the circle is the most important and the most usual thing what we draw. We talked about rhythm when we were drawing lines. You will feel that your hand has got into rhythm of drawing lines. Okay, and you will start feeling it easy drawing lines. Okay, now when you have to draw a circle, there also your hand needs to get into rhythm before you put it on paper. So the best thing is to start with the ghost lines. Ghosting is something when you draw something but it doesn't appear that very well, and you just start moving your pencil in circular motion. Slowly your hand will get into this rhythm, and then sometimes you touch it on paper, sometimes you don't touch it on paper, so the lines will look like they're appearing. So we call it a ghosting technique, and these are the ghost lines. And when you feel that your hand has got into this rhythm, you just put this circle on paper. So sometimes you get a lot of lines, but that's okay. We call them construction lines, and it's okay to draw several lines here, because somewhere you have got your circle what you wanted. Okay, and try to divide it into 4 equal parts, because you have learned how to draw vertical lines, standing lines. Try to draw this into 8 equal parts. So these are the basic exercises we do, and I recommend you to do before you come to the class. So this is a circle, and oval, of course you know then that you keep practicing your hand into an oval rhythm and just put it on paper when you like it. And in oval, if you draw a line here in the middle and a vertical line here, you will see that this is equal to this and this is equal to this. All 4 of these things are symmetrical. Circle also you have the same thing. So that's how in oval and circle, even a smallest segment will be a curved line. It should not be a straight line anywhere. I have seen people drawing ovals like this. So that's not a correct oval, because it's a very long segment which is straight. So you will see that all these things are curvy. So that's how you need to practice a lot of ovals. You can just make any exercise and give your hand a good rhythm. Draw big circles and big ovals. Please do not draw very small things, because that doesn't help really. Try not to hold your pencil with tripod grip. Initially, you need to practice overhand grip. So try to draw big circles. Try to draw big ovals. That's okay. Whatever, even if your page is messy, you're not going to show it to anyone. Just practice a lot of circles and ovals initially. So that's your second assignment, where you're going to practice a lot of circles and a lot of ovals. After lines and curves, the third thing what we are going to cover today is shapes. Shapes are the simplest visual representation of any object's outline. Geometrically, it is a two-dimensional flat area enclosed by a line. This line starts at a point, keeps changing its angle or curvature, and finally come back to the same point where it started. So the basic shapes what we have seen till now with the straight lines is maybe the square, the rectangle, parallelograms, okay, triangle. These are the basic shapes, right? Circle, oval. These are the basic shapes what we have learned, and these are the most usual shapes you keep seeing around you, and it's easy to draw them because you have observed them many times. The exercise today what you have to do is draw any random shape, like just draw it. Okay, that's just the random shape I have drawn, or maybe with angle, whatever, you just draw it. Okay, now try to copy this shape. When you try to copy this shape, what you have never seen and which is very unusual for you, what is the best practice? What is the observation you have to make to draw this shape again? See, if I start with this point, how I started drawing this shape, and I follow this line which is going towards this angle, and what if I start drawing this line very big, and then I move down, and this is the vertical line, and I draw very small line, and then again I go which is this side which is very small, then this line I have changed the angle here. I can see this angle is wrong, this angle is wrong, but I draw it very big. Is this the same thing what this was? No, not at all, because number one, I changed the dimension, I changed the size of all these lines. Okay, number one, the size or the dimension, and number two, angle. Sometimes I followed the same angle, but here I did not follow the angles very well. See, this angle is completely wrong. So that's why this shape doesn't look like this one. Here, this, you see this thing, if I draw it like this, definitely this shape is not going to look like this one. So this is the third and last exercise where you have to draw any random shape which is very unusual. Just randomly you have to draw it, and you try to copy it and see what two things are controlling the accuracy. So that's all for today's lesson. I hope you all enjoyed it. Assignments are very important, so please ensure you do all the assignments diligently. Theory is one thing which your brain understands, but doing it on paper trains your hand muscles, and you get to understand in what areas you actually need to improve yourself. So please complete the assignments. Online students have to submit their assignments using the link provided to them, and for the offline students, we will assess the assignment in the following class. We'll see you in the next class. Take care. Have a nice day. Bye.